and welcome to Find It on this Wednesday evening. I am pumped. I am ready to go because my girl is here. I got my awesome friend, producer in the back, but Jade Berry is with us today. She is a fan favorite of the town that we live in. She's not originally from here. We're going to talk to her and find out what brought her on over to Ohio, where she's from, what she's doing now, what she has been doing. It's going to be a good show. We're going to have fun, high energy. So tune in, type in, communicate with us. And if you have any questions, we would love to have them. So hang tight. We're going to show a little video for Jade, and she will be right back with us. Hello, welcome, my friend.
Hey.
I love it. I love the
Long
hair.
overdue.
I love the glasses. I love the whole vibe you've got going on here. So glad to have you on the show, Jade.
So glad. It's long overdue. We are so behind.
We are, but I am excited to get into, there's some things that even though I know you, there's some things I don't know. So I'm excited to ask, and I'm sure there's some people in the crowd who may have some questions as well. One of the things that I'm drawn to you because you have a bright light around you. You shine on everyone. You're kind, you're compassionate, you're smart, and you're beautiful. And I just love women who build one another up, and you are a builder. That is for sure. So let's get right into it. Jade, you are not from Ohio and definitely not from Chillicothe. Tell everybody where you're from.
I am originally from Oakland, California, which is a far cry from Chillicothe, Ohio.
That's right. That's right. So with that being said, I mean, the culture, it's on one end of the map to here. How did you get to Chillicothe? What brought you here?
Well, that's a whole nother story. So we got to Chillicothe from New Orleans area. And I actually met Shauna Shanks from High Five Cakes out in North Carolina. So not even in Ohio. And we were lost in a hallway, found each other. Realized that we were going to the same place, and that's how we met. And that's how I got my first Chillicothe experience. Wasn't even in Chillicothe. And then 2 years after we met, we were both authors. So my book came out the following year, and then her book came out, and she invited me to come sing for her book launch. And I was literally only here for 24 hours. And she took me on a tour of Chillicothe, and I just knew it was home. And I worked until I got here.
Oh my gosh. So how long have you lived in Chillicothe?
It'll be 5 years this year.
Okay. So
which is crazy to think.
Yeah, 5 years. And I feel like it's been longer because I don't really.
It's like both, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like you're one of those people that once you get to know, it feels like you've always known them. That's how I feel with you. I'm like 5 years.
You too.
But hello, Trisha. Hello, Sean. I saw them.
Hey,
I'm watching.
Hey, Shani girl.
But I want to talk about the fact that you came to Chillicothe, and a lot of people, it's a smaller city. People aren't too sure about it. What was it about Chillicothe when you came and you toured that drew you in?
I got to be honest. Most people who know me know that I am a girl of faith, like through and through. Like anything I do, I'm like, God, tell me what to do. And I was in front of the Majestic, and I could feel God telling me he was working here, and I needed to be here working where he was working.
Wow.
And that kind of blew me away because I had never been here. So I was like, I've only been here for like 15 hours. Like, I don't know this little town. Yeah, I had to like download that. So first you kind of think like, it's this passing thought, no big deal. So then I went back home a few hours later, and it just I couldn't kick the feeling like I was supposed to be in Chillicothe, and there was work for me here, and I just couldn't get rid of it. So I didn't tell my husband because I was like, well, he's going to think I'm crazy. Like, we've never even been to Ohio. You think I'm crazy. So I prayed about it for 6 weeks, and I told God, if you give him a dream, I'll know for sure that this is what we're supposed to do. And sure enough, 6 weeks later, he had a dream of a hillside in Ohio.
Wait, so you had told him though. I was in
No,
Ohio.
I had not told him. I had no
So
told
you
him. I
waited it
told he
out.
knew that I waited it out. He knew that I went because obviously I did the music. And then I didn't tell him that I felt like we were supposed to live here until he had the dream.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible. That's an amazing story. So
Yeah.
at the time, you and your husband were living and your family were living where?
In Louisiana. So we had just bought a brand new house, like house just built, and he had a brand new business that he started.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, you know what? We're gonna drop all of that. We're gonna move to this little town we ain't never been to.
Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
okay, so since we're talking about your husband, I got to put this up here. This is so cute. You both that you don't normally dress that way, and he
I do. He
normally doesn't.
doesn't.
He doesn't normally wear a wig, but this is when you were both danced for Dance for Kids' Sake, Big Brothers Big Sisters for that. And that leads me to my next thing. You came to Chillicothe 5 years ago and immediately got involved.
Oh yeah,
Was that also a
immediately.
calling to you?
I feel like when I heard the words "you need to work where I'm working," I just knew, like, I knew I was going to be deeply, deeply, deeply involved with Chillicothe. Like, I knew it would be, I'd be doing some kind of nonprofit stuff, and I'd be doing anything I could to be a part of the community. And seriously, like, I've done more probably in the last 5 years than I've done in my entire life.
Right. And then this even.
I
So, I
know.
mean,
Even
theater,
that, I know. I had,
theater,
that was
every
the very first show I've ever done in my life. Like, I've never done kids theater or anything like that. And the funny thing is about that show, I didn't even audition for that. I was taking my daughter to audition, and as we were leaving, the producer said, "Hey, do you sing?" And that's how I got that role.
oh my gosh, that was meant to be. All of us went,
Yeah,
all of us that were in
it
the
was so
theater,
fun.
we went to see that and we were like, "Oh my gosh, Jade, like you owned the stage, you know?" And I think you're natured like if I'm going to do something,
Oh,
I'm
we're
going to
doing it.
yeah,
We're
we're going
doing
to
it.
go in. We're
Yeah, we're
going
gonna do
in.
it big.
That's right. We're going in. It was a great show.
That
I
is.
enjoyed that so much. But when you told me that day, this is the first one I've ever done, I was like, "Nuh-uh, no way. There's no way." And you're like, "Yeah, truly."
Yeah,
So
it stretched
Chillicothe,
me, but it was
you
really good.
yeah, so would you say then that you've obviously been a huge community supporter since you've been here, but do you feel like that Chillicothe has also given you anything back?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like, so much. I've never felt more loved and supported and just embraced and cared for in my entire life. Like,
Yeah.
and I've lived in at least 4 states. Like, in Chillicothe, I felt like you're always kind of looking for home a little bit. Like, your heart is always looking for home. When we moved here, it was like, I will never forget. We have the craziest stories, but anyways, I we started asking God to show us like ladybugs. And so anytime we go see, a house or something, we'd be like, okay, God, just show us ladybugs so we know that this is it and we can just like relax. And well, we were not seeing these ladybugs. And then one time we went in the house and the house had a whole slew of dead like ladybugs and beetles. And we're like, no. Well, one day we're on the phone and there's this joke in Louisiana where it's like, the state bird is a mosquito.
Yeah.
And something in me was just like, me and Marshall were on the phone. I'm like, I wonder what the state bird of Ohio is. And so I looked that up. Well, then it showed me the cardinal. And then right under it was the state bug. And do you know what the state bug
Is
is?
it? It's
It's a
not a
ladybug.
ladybug.
It is a
I
ladybug.
didn't know that. Oh my gosh, so there's your sign. You
Yeah. And
didn't
then
get
like
it.
literally I just knew like it's all led up to this. So it's felt like everything I've done in my life has led me here to do what I'm supposed to do here. It's
So
pretty crazy.
I didn't want to delve into this just right away, but I do feel like when I called you and said, "Do you want to be on the show?" And you're like, "Yes, girl, yes." And I'm like, "Good. I'm glad you're available. Let's do this." The first thing that came into my mind was us talking about following your calling, even when sometimes you're not sure what that path is.
Yeah.
What is that purpose that you're leading toward now? and you've had a lot of changes recently. I would love for
Yeah.
you to talk about that and
Yeah.
how God spoke to you and where you're going now, if you know and you
Yeah.
believe, and tell us about that, the changes that you've had.
Well, I will say this right up front. If you don't, if you're not sure about something, then, or if it's confusing, it's probably not it. Like if it feels, and sometimes even if it feels safe, it's probably not it. If it's like the comfortable thing, it's probably not the thing that you should be doing. Like
Yeah.
it's usually the thing that is meant for you to do is the thing that's going to stretch you and cause you to have faith in ways that you never would have had. And like you said, I've just come through like a million different transitions at the same
Yeah.
time.
Tell us about
Um,
it. Tell us about that.
so after, if no one knows, I ran for mayor last year, which was incredible because I got to see and talk to and just be with my people, which is my favorite thing about the whole
Yeah.
job being here is everyone's my people and I just love everybody.
Yes, you do.
Um, so after that, before that, actually, I kind of felt like it was time for me to close my store. And
So for
but
those
then
of
I
you
was
who don't know, Jade
there
has
you
had
go. Give
just,
that up.
yeah, she had an amazing boutique, brick and mortar, and she did online stuff, but brick and mortar, and it was beautiful, gorgeous, and she rocked it and did amazing. But she just recently closed it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I kind of felt like in the middle of the election season that I was supposed to close. But then um, I kind of fought it a little bit. I was like, well, if I'm going to end up changing into, if I'm going to be working for the government, like I can't be running no store from the
Yeah,
government.
exactly.
So, so I kind of like relinquished that like control. And then when I did not win the election, my brain was kind of like, well, that's fine. I'll just do what I've been doing. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
And God was like, girl, no, you're going to close that too.
So you
So it
went
was
from
a,
doing
a
all
little
the,
traumatic
yeah, that's a lot of change and a
from
lot of
doing all
things
the
shutting down.
things to doing. And then I remember I was praying and I remember thinking, like this thought just came to me like, if I don't let go of the things in my hands, he can't put more in there. Like if I keep trying to like grasp at all of the things that I think are like the things I should be doing, and
Mhm.
he can't put more in there. And I want more, baby. Like I want all of it. I want whatever he has in his hands for me. Give me all of that.
Yeah.
So it was really hard though. Like I ain't gonna lie. So I almost thought, well, I could be okay with this because I hadn't rested. I had been, like you said, as soon as we came here, I hit the ground running and I was like, all things Chillicothe, however I'm going to be a part of these people, we're going to be a part of it. We're going to help the people. We're going to do all of the things.
Yeah.
And life just was like taking off. So I really don't know what rest looks like, which is a whole
Mm.
problem. Um, so when I knew I had to close the store, I kind of was I was sad, but then I was like, well, I'll get to rest. I haven't rested. And my mentally, I was thinking I was going to rest before I went into the next thing. Well, the store closed. And then literally the next day, we took the kids and went out of town. So no processing,
It's
zero
like,
process.
shut it down. See you later.
Shut down. I'm out. Went out of town. I'm like, so that's not healthy, guys.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
in case you didn't
yeah.
know, not healthy. So went out of town for a week, came back. Then after went out of town for a week, I decide, well, I'm going to go on a mission trip because why
Why
not?
not?
Do more things. It's rest. So I go, and I'm like, going to this mission trip, it was amazing. Did a rebuild project for Samaritan's Purse. If you have
Wow.
not done it, get down there to Mayfield, Kentucky. Everything was gone, and they're building these communities. Amazing project.
Oh my
So
gosh,
I
my friend
spent.
Sarah. I don't know if Sarah's watching.
Oh,
Her
it's
son
amazing,
lost
Sarah.
her mom down.
You know the life.
Yeah.
So I went down there and hung blinds and cocked some doorways, and I was like, "This is the jam." I am.
Yeah. So you did
I
that
thought I was
for,
rested.
yeah.
So then the next week after that, so now it's been 2 weeks and I have not processed anything. And
Oh,
then the third week came and it got quiet. And I was like, oh, this is what this is like.
You didn't like
doing
it.
nothing. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I wallpapered my bedroom. I built a bed. I repainted my bathroom. I fixed my back fence.
Bob
Like
Vila. Bob Vila's coming out now.
it was
Oh,
it was not to what I know God was trying to get me to do. And so I just got busy because I don't know how to sit still,
yeah,
which is a good and a bad thing. But
yeah.
I really feel like God was trying to teach me to rest in Him and not in my busyness. You know what I mean? And trying to do
Mhm.
the things. Because even though being busy is comfortable for me, it didn't mean it was the thing I was supposed to be learning to do at this time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I kind of got really sad for a minute. Like I got
Mhm.
really sad because it was like I'm so used to doing things. And oh, and I forgot to tell you, I decided to take a sabbatical for the first 36 days of the year to kind of like tithe my year to God. I'm like, God, I'm gonna give you the first of the year.
So sabbatical from
Well,
social media,
just from
sabbatical
everything. I
from
didn't go to
everything.
any meetings. I didn't go to, so I had no social media from everything. I just took a sabbatical from, or so I thought, because I was still busy. But
Yeah.
so after that sabbatical was up, I was like, okay, now we're going to hop into something. We're going to know what our next steps are and do all the things. And my friend Alana, she was like, girl, you did not rest. And my mom was like, I don't think you really rested.
I hung wallpaper, I
I
caught
was like, girl,
fools.
I did rest. No, I
Yeah.
didn't. I did not rest. But so then I was sad because I didn't know what exactly. Like I'm so used to like asking God what my next steps are, knowing what those are, and just getting those things done. And then I started to realize, what if He just wants me, not me doing stuff all the time?
Right?
Like He might just want to be with you. Like that could be
Right.
good. So that was like, which is really hard for me. So then I have tea with my Aunt Jan every Wednesday as much as I can. Um, and one day we were there and she was like, have you ever thought to just like sit and be quiet and let God just like love on you? Just like ask Him to come sit with you and just sit and not ask for anything and not feel like you need to do a devotional or do a Bible study
Mhm.
or write in your journal or like just sit. And one day, like nobody was in the house and I sat on the bench in my dining room and I sat there and I closed my eyes and I just like leaned my head over like if I was laying on His chest. And that was like the best
Aw.
5 minutes of my life. Like I
5
literally just
minutes.
sat there. That's
Yeah.
all I had. That's all I got. But
It's difficult for people who are
it's
busy
difficult.
to
It's
have 5
difficult.
minutes is a long time for a
It's a
busy
lot.
person.
Yeah, it's a lot. And you don't realize how my mind is just very like it's always thinking and
Mhm.
I'm always problem solving in my head and I'm always thinking of ideas and projects and planning and like my head is always moving. I always got a running book going on in my brain. Like it's always like that. So to sit for 5 minutes and not do anything is really like a stretch for me. It's big time.
You
but
know,
um
you
but that taught me like I'm not used to that. I
yeah,
don't do that. I don't do
like
that.
what
And
you
I don't
said earlier. You said earlier that you feel like sometimes God pushes you if anything's too comfortable, it's probably not what you
mhm.
should be doing. So
Yeah.
you had to get in your uncomfortable zone of letting everything go and meditate and pray, but not doing anything. That's
Uh-huh.
so difficult to do. I'm a busy
So
person too
difficult.
in the mind. And over the last couple of years, Jade, I will tell you that I've been practicing that. And I know to some people it may seem like, girl, just sit and relax. But when you're a high energy person and you're always thinking, it's something you have to practice. And I also
Yeah.
have been doing that. So
It's
good
very
for you.
difficult.
Yeah. But then after that, keep going. I don't wanna interrupt you, but I wanna hear.
So after that time, transition is very hard. And I don't think we talk about that enough. Like because a lot of times we're just going from one thing to the next, but there's times like now where you're in the middle and there's no rhyme or reason to you, but I'm actually you're being formed into what you're supposed to be for the next step. And we don't talk about like the holding period, the waiting
Mhm.
period, the like what do you do in in that time? And especially when you're a person who doesn't know like how to do that well, it's hard. Like being in transition for 3 months for someone who is used to just going, blowing and going all the time is, it can be torturous.
Right. So
And,
what advice are you giving yourself and advice you'd give other people for that holding?
my advice is, um, learn how to sit and be okay with the not knowing. That is the
Mm,
most difficult thing,
that is
because
hard.
we, especially as women, we want to control everything.
Mhm,
Even like the least control freak. Like I am so easy. Well, you know this about me. I am so easy breezy. I
yeah,
am so flexible. I am the least control freak. Like I can listen. You want to let's spontaneous? Let's work. Like I have
mhm,
no. I'm not really like that. But when nothing's in your control, you realize you do want control. You do
mhm,
want control. And the best thing you can do is be okay and be honest with yourself. Like, honestly, the best thing I did for myself was, just be honest with myself and say, I don't like not knowing. I
mhm,
didn't. I could not. I couldn't deal with the, I'm like, yeah, this is great. And I love this. Let's
mhm,
rest thing. But what
mhm.
we doing next? Like, what we doing next?
Yeah.
And I even applied for a job. I applied for a job that I would be great at, and I got the job, but I just felt like it was not a fit. And I knew it. Like, you just know.
Mhm.
And I knew that God was working something new in me and different in me. And even before at the beginning of this transition season, I knew he was telling me, I'm going to do something new and something you've never done or seen ever before in your life. And so it was like I didn't even have like a context or a framework to know what was coming next.
Yeah.
But my brain was trying to make one
That's me.
because, you know
I
what
think
I'm
a
saying?
lot of us
Trying to,
do. I'm so glad
yeah,
you're bringing this up because I bet a lot of people watching right now, if not all, this is resonating with them because even just you want to know what's next. And
yeah,
if
you
you
do.
don't, you have to believe and just have faith. And what it was, so this has been going on since, wait a minute, I do have another question. When you were running for mayor, did you feel like that was something that God wanted you to do? Was that something
Oh
that you,
yeah.
okay. So the
100, you could guarantee that Jade Berry would not be running for mayor. It would have to be an act of God.
yes.
But now, when I think back on it, I just think about how many prayers I put up for our people in our community. So much so that I had, there was one night where me and three groups of people, we went out to the four corners of our city and just prayed for us
Mm,
as a community, for unity for our community, for protection, that God would protect us, that, the things that weren't meant to be here would leave, and that if there was people who did not want to be a part of unity, that they would scram, like literally like hard prayers. And so I know that that whole thing was like, it had so much intentionality, like beyond what we can see in the natural. And I remember like when at the last week, when it was like election time, I remember asking God, like, I don't know if I'm going to win this thing. And this thought came to my mind immediately. He said, you were just supposed to get your name on the ballot.
yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay. I did that. Like I did that. And I think about all the people and my kids. And let me encourage you guys with this. If nothing else, you know how people say things are caught, not taught? It
Mhm.
is the truth. Like, don't tell your kids to live their dreams if you're not going to live yours. Do not tell your kids to do scary things if they watch you live in fear their entire life. Like, you cannot expect
Yeah.
that to be a reality. It just does not happen. And I think a lot of times we want our kids and the people around us to be better than us, but we're not willing to like live out that example, or not willing, but some people ain't willing, but some people just are too afraid to even, take the risk to do the thing that would make it so someone else, people need, it's like, people need to be able to say, ooh, I want to do that too. Ooh, they
Mhm.
could do that. People need to see the reality that things can be done,
And it
so,
can,
so
and I'm sure your family, as all of us, were so proud of you for running for mayor. And you're right. The people that you were able to meet and greet and pray for, you may have not had that opportunity without getting your
Oh
name.
yeah,
And I think we should,
100%.
like, from now on, like, if someone's trying to do something or they're living in fear, we're going to be hashtag get your name on the ballot. Like, that's so
Get your name on the
you're just
ballot.
supposed to get your hashtag name on the
You're
ballot.
just supposed to get your name on the ballot. That's
That's
it.
right.
And I
Just get
think
your name
that's
on
the
the
hard
ballot.
thing. We want to see the end. And you don't control the end, but you can control whether you're in the game. You can control what you put in the game, and you can control how you respond to if you win or lose. Like that, we have those controls, but we are so caught up in the things that we can't control that we
Mm,
miss the opportunities to do what we can do, you know?
that's so true, Jade. I got to say this. I don't know if Sean Benson's still on here or not, but when I was talking to her the other day, she goes, Debbie, I just keep having this feeling like, wouldn't Jade be the best life coach? She would be so good.
I
And I'm like,
don't know, girl. I don't know if people.
no, I would no. When she said that, I got chills. I was like, oh my
Oh,
gosh. Yes.
oh, that's
Yes.
awesome.
So I don't
I
know.
love
We'll
that.
see. We'll see what
Listen,
happens, where
we don't
God
even know
leads you.
what we're
What
doing, so
are
who
you
knows?
feeling now? What are you feeling now? Are
Honestly,
you
I'm feeling like I'm gonna go into some consulting.
okay.
I have these dreams. I just love helping people start
Yeah.
things and do things. And so I have a couple people on my list who I'm going to try and do some free consulting for to see if I really want to step into that realm. And there we go. One, that's one. So I'm just going to, but I would really love to get into just helping people like to see the dream, like, because listen, if I have a business idea in my brain, it may not never come to fruition, but you can best believe it's got a business plan because I'm gonna sit up and write a business
Yeah.
plan.
I believe it. I believe it.
I love doing that. So I love helping people dream. So trying to
Mhm.
formulate, that's the business plan I'm working on right now, trying to figure out what that looks like in real time, tangible. How do we communicate that with people? And I'm all about getting certified for all the things. So I'm working on one certification right now.
Yes, yes.
But
You have can you give us just some of the things that you've done in your life?
whew,
Certifications,
okay.
your jobs, your things you've done to
We're gonna
help.
start from the beginning. We'll start
Let's
from the
do it.
beginning. Okay,
Let's do it.
so I am a design and merchandising major.
Okay.
So I designed clothes for 5 years. I was a custom evening wear designer for about 5 years. And then I moved into being a brand specialist for Macy's, which was amazing, and visual merchandiser for them also. And then I just went into being a stylist, and I would go in and change people's closets and throw all the old stuff away and help them learn how to dress and do all the things. Um, and that was convenient because I have so many kids. We've got 5 kids. So I had so many
And
kids.
you
You got
did
to
you
do things
homeschool
that,
them? Did you
and they were
homeschool?
homeschooling. So I had to have something I was, favorable to do while I'm homeschooling. And then we moved to Texas to help a family plant a church while homeschooling. Um, and in all of that, I decided to write a book. So I wrote my first book, The Truth About Happiness, available on Amazon.
Oh, good.
And
Let's
then
talk
there
about
is
that. Yeah, and you also have a
yeah,
journal, right?
and then there's a journal that goes with it, The Truth About Happiness Journal. So I did that, and that was such a labor of love. I go back and read it myself. So I always say, God's not going to let you teach somebody something that He has not taught you first.
Mm,
And listen, whoo, so many lessons in that book, and just full of like
mm,
a sister talking to her sisters and brothers about the truth about happiness and how it is not what we think it is, and we've given it something that it actually is not. We've given it a place it never deserved to have.
mhm.
So really good book. And then after that, while we were waiting to move here, because that story in itself is crazy, because we had a house in contract a year after we started looking. We had a house in contract. Our house was on the market, but it was under contract. And our whole house was packed up. And 2 weeks before moving day, we get a call from our realtor saying, so the people that are supposed to buy your house can't buy your house. And they never sold their house, so they couldn't buy our house. So I'm like, you know me, Deb. I'm like, faith it till I make it. That's okay. Like somebody gonna come buy this house, no problem. So I'm like, no big deal. So then the very next day, though, the next morning, our backyard fell into the pond behind the house. And so,
Oh, no.
Had to take the house off the market.
Oh my gosh.
And then we had to cancel our contract here in Ohio. So that was the extra 9 months that we spent in Louisiana. That was excruciating. And but then like I had one day of just like wallowing in my sadness. And then I got up off that floor and I said, if we're gonna wait, we're gonna wait well. And then I wrote my second book, Set Free to Be Set
Oh,
Apart.
Set Free to Be
And
Set
then
Apart. All of
Set
these are
Free to Be
both
Set Apart,
on
both
Amazon.
on Amazon. Yeah.
Okay.
And then after I wrote that book, then I also did an EP album with 3 songs. Like, listen, I was like, if we're gonna wait, we're gonna wait well. We're gonna put some stuff out here to help the people.
And now we know, folks, that this girl cannot rest. God was
She
teaching her
cannot
to
rest.
rest. Oh my gosh. I would love to.
Literally.
Oh man, I've not heard any of those songs. Can you sing just one little piece?
Oh,
One
let's see.
song?
Let's see. Let's see. Lead me, Lord, by still waters. You restore my soul.
Awesome. Yay. I love when people will like do it. You're like a gamer. You're like, yeah, I will.
Sure, girl.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So
How do we get
all the
those?
songs on that album were me lamenting about not moving.
Right. Well, how do we get those? How do we find this one?
Those and on Spotify.
Okay.
Should be Apple Music, probably Amazon Music. I can't remember. They're on some
Okay.
music.
So I noticed like your books are under J.E.
Jade Berry. That's my author. That's my author
Yes.
title.
So her
Yep.
author title is J.E. and then her
Yep.
last name Berry. So if you can't remember the names of the books, type her into Amazon and find her stuff
Thanks,
because
Kelly girl.
she's so good. Well, I just appreciate the person that you are. You're just like I said, a big bright light. So okay, so then you got so you let's go back to all the things that you've done. So while you're
So let's
waiting,
say
you
those
sang, you
books, did a
yeah.
book and an album while we waited, and then we moved here and and walked into the bakery the first day it was opened, and I was like, "Hey, girl, you need some help?" And then I ended up there for like 5 months, and then and then I went on a missions trip and. Let me encourage you guys with this. If something is scaring you and you don't know why, you need to search for what is trying to get out of you. So I'll say that. Something's trying to be birthed in you. If you feel immense fear, something is trying to be birthed from you. Okay. So, anyways, I
Oh,
went to Africa and they asked me to preach. And normally, I mean, I have been doing that for years at that point. Like I've been already public speaking and preaching all over the place. And so they asked me to preach, and something in me was so terrified. I was like, I don't think I can do this. I was like, I'll give a quick testimony, but that was it. So that triggered something in me. I was like, why was I scared? That was weird.
yeah.
So came home and started like just praying about that and thinking like something is trying to come out of me because I'm scared for something, like something. And then I had the idea about the Life Ready program, which was the program that I haven't done it. It's been a while now because of all the transitions, but the Life Ready program, you know, youth and young adults, helping them get jobs, keep jobs, learn to buy a house, all of those things. So that idea came to me, but then I was like, well, how do we bring that to the community? And then the idea for the stat came. And then I was like, I ain't got no money, Lord. So you're going to have to figure out how to get this out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I prayed about that for a long time. I didn't tell anybody about it. So from January to February, I prayed about it and didn't tell a soul, like not even my husband. And then finally I told him and I was like, I don't know if this is actually going to happen. And I remember going to Roast when it first opened and I met with a friend for coffee and this woman was there. Oh, before I went into the coffee shop, I was like, Lord, the person that's supposed to help me open this shop is going to be in here. If she's in here, let me meet her. Right. I didn't know if it was girl or I was like, just show me the person. And I met this woman and I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Didn't think anything about it. 2 weeks later, I have coffee with another friend. I was like, okay, if this was the person, let them be in there. And I came have coffee with my friend. I didn't see the person. I was like, no big deal. And then my friend Kennedy Moss, she was like, hey, can you walk back here? I want you to see my friend Deidre's store. And she was standing right in there. And yeah, and she's one of my closest friends now. Her name is Jenny Moore. She's amazing. She was standing back there. And I was like, well, this is weird. And then So Deidre, for some reason, I saw Deidre in Kroger like a week before and told her that I had this idea about this store. And while I was in there, Deidre asked me about it. And my friend, she was crying, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I didn't even know her at this time. I'm like, "I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. You okay?" And she was like, this is exactly what I think we want to be involved in." And sure enough, I mean, the spot that my store was in was actually supposed to just be an event space. She
Yes.
walked me to that space, walked me to the office. Like it happened, like
Wow.
God was in all of it. Like it was crazy. It was crazy.
Why did you
So
name
then
it the Stack?
it's named the Stack because the paper stack is the central point for Chillicothe. And I wanted the storefront to be a central point where people could come and have community and just know that was home for them. And it was like I've walked people through divorces in there. I've prayed for so many people in there. I mean,
Well,
that storefront was like,
okay.
woo!
So let's talk about this. What about this team? Remember that day?
Oh, that day. I do
That day,
remember.
I walk in there to have
Wow.
coffee, and I was getting ready to start my business, and I was, nervous,
Yeah.
confused, trying to find my way. And you happened, we were just chatting, and
Yeah.
then Ashley and we ended up standing up, and we all embraced hands. You guys,
Mhm.
seriously, like this is insane. Right in the middle of roast coffee, and then
Right in the
Stack
middle.
was right there, right in the
Mhm.
middle. And Jade said, "Well, let's all hold hands." And she delivered the most I was sobbing in roast. I didn't even
So
know.
good.
I mean, I didn't even care. You know what I
It was
mean?
so good. Yeah.
When you're feeling it, and she delivered the most beautiful prayer, and I was just, tears were coming, and I was feeling the presence, and I was just like, I am so blessed right now. I'm blessed anyway, but I was just
Yeah.
overload feeling it. And I thought, here's this woman who hasn't always been in Chillicothe, but she's here now. She's a community in the community. We're going to be in the same industry. So you have a place, and then I'm going to be selling stuff too. I mean, different vibe, but still, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you're praying for me to have success in my business and to find my way and all that. And my heart was so warm, and it still is. I'll never forget that day. Never, ever forget
That
that
was
day.
a good
And
man. Oh God.
I always really liked you, and even had you write a little something, and you're in my book,
Yeah.
because I trusted you. There was a very
We've just been connected since the very beginning.
Yeah, there was a connection there, and I trusted you, and I didn't show that to anybody. And I said,
Yeah.
"I want you to look at this and just write something." You said, "Sure, I sure will." And I just like, that was even before this, but I thought to myself that day, if I didn't already love this girl, I would totally be loving her now. Like, it was just the whole experience. Like, you're the real deal, Jade. You are the real deal.
Oh,
Kelly
thank
Ann, I have not been reading these, but I'm going to read this one because I've been so into what you're saying. I didn't want to take away, but you have hugged me, cried with me,
oh,
prayed
my
with
Kelly
me a
girl.
few times. Yeah, in there. I will never
Oh,
forget the way you made me feel, Jade.
I
Kelly.
love you, Kel.
Kelly. Yeah, and a lot of
Yeah.
people have been writing in. I saw a Nancy, and but you guys, we see you on here. I want her to be able to say as much as she can in the time that we have, without me taking that
Thank
away from that. But Jade, you're such a special person. And so now
you, honey.
you've gone and you've created all of these uh, programs for people, for young kids, all the way to adults, to help to better their life. And all behind it, it's always faith. But now, have you told us all the stuff you've done? You're an author, you're a singer, you're an artist, you're a
Let's
designer,
see.
you're
I'm a real estate agent.
you're a real estate agent. We haven't said that yet. You're a real
Me and all
estate.
my good friends.
Yeah. So were you a real estate agent prior? You
Was
weren't.
not.
You
You
got
want to
here.
hear that story? That story is
Yes.
insane. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So listen, this is how this if y'all have not learned, God, listen, knocks my socks off on a daily basis. Ridiculous. So I'm driving the kids to school. I haven't never thought about being a real estate agent. Okay, let's just keep that real. I had never thought about that. I'm driving the kids to school, and something in me was like, it would be really cool if I got a real estate agent license. I have a store. Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know. So that day, I come into roast and me and Ashley are having coffee. And I'm like, I had the craziest. She was like, so what's on your mind right now? Which is crazy that she asked me that anyway. But anyways, she's like, so what's new? And I'm like, I had the craziest thought to be, get my real estate license. And she's like, oh, well, there's a new real estate office opening up. This was right before Dwell was opening up.
Okay.
And as soon as that left her mouth, Conchetta Garinger comes in the door behind me.
See, that was meant to
It
be.
was the craziest thing. So I was like, that is so wild. Like, how would that happen? So I'm like, okay, you always question like at least 17 more times before you dive in. So I get in the car and I'm like, no way my husband's going to let me do this. Like the insane. I was like, well, the only way I'm going to do this is if it's on sale. Like if the course is on sale. Like, let me just bargain with God real quick. So sure enough, the course is on sale. So then I'm like, there's no way my husband's going to let me do this. So we're sitting in the bed and I'm like, well, I really feel like God wants me to get a real estate license, but it's a lot of money. Like, I don't know. And we're doing this and we're doing that. He reaches in his wallet and hands me the card. And I'm like, okay, guess we're getting a real estate license.
That's right. Oh my gosh. And then
like, nuts.
Is he he's handy, right? Like
he's everything. Oh, yeah. He can do everything. So right now he's the superintendent of a subdivision in right off of Western, and he literally can do anything. He's the most amazing.
And he can dance. I saw that you guys got judge's choice.
Yeah, and and he'll do any crazy thing that I put him up to. Because if you haven't tracked most of this, I get the crazy ideas thrown to me.
And he's like, "Oh, Jade,
I'm like, look, babe, let's do this new thing."
Hey, I'm
poor thing.
I'm from Oakland, but hey, Chillicothe, Ohio sounds like a place to move. I mean, he's
great.
Like, what? That's amazing.
Like, she crazy.
So you are now. I mean, do you feel like your pause was long enough, and you're ready to start moving into your next chapter?
Yeah. I've been woken up in the middle of the night with all these new things and ideas, and I can't wait to just like reveal everything that I'm going to be doing. But if you're starting a business, or if you have dreams of starting a business, or if you have a business, but it's hard to get like those finite, just like your value system in order and things like that, reach out to me. I would love to help you fine tune those things. I love helping people find their why, which, that's why me and Debbie are so close, because we're both like that. We love helping people find, why are you on this earth? Why are you doing what you're doing? I'm a person that hates to waste time. So I'm always like, let's eliminate the things that are wasting time, so.
Yeah, that's good. Cut out the stuff that's not working. Well, I'm loving this, and everyone that's watching, thank you for being here for Jade and for me as well. We do have a connection. We do have faith. You are like able to pray out loud, like Gwen Thomas. Like, she always gives me chills too. Yeah, that's a gift. That is a gift. I felt like it was just so effortless when you pray. And then when I've heard you pray, it's almost, I mean, it is from God, it's like the words that you find those words that it just comes out of you. Like, you're not even thinking, right? Yeah. Is that what happens?
Yeah. Even like at church, when I'm singing, I kind of just like black out and go wherever he's going. Like, I'm just like, it's me and you, God, and everyone else is invited to come with me, Oh,
I love it. And you make everyone feel loved. You really do.
Oh, thanks,
I would, like my mom used to say about my mother-in-law, if anybody say anything bad about her, I'd wonder what's wrong with them. She would say, my mother-in-law was such an angel. She was so sweet. She was a good woman. But I always ask all my, my people that come on here, I always want to find out, because the show is called Find It. What have you found in life, or what have you found in life that you're thinking of right now that you would love to share with all of us to inspire us to find it too?
I think we need to find that it's okay to not have it all together. Like, and to just not know. It's okay to not know. And it's once you get to the place where you find the uncertainty is actually fun. You don't have to know. It's fun. And If you're a person of faith, uncertainty is excitement because, you get to trust God in ways that you never thought you could, or, you get to be like, okay, you're like a kid in a candy store. Like right now, I'm a kid in a candy store because I had fought not knowing for so long. And now I'm just kind of like, I'm actually really excited that I don't know. And I'm excited to see the new people that I'm going to meet and the new things that I'm going to do. And, we need to find the child in us that's
Mm,
curious, the child that is curious about who we are, and not be so stapled to the ideas that we have here that this doesn't get let go, like that
mm,
it's so harnessed.
mm.
So we have to find curiosity, man. We are in a world where everything's coming at us fast, and we're trying so hard to hold on to everything because of that. And
Yeah.
everything's moving so fast, but we just have to be like, it's okay. Let's just be curious about what we don't know. Let's just be loose about, we might not know what tomorrow brings, and that's okay. Guess what? If we eating beans and rice tomorrow, we're gonna put some seasoning on it and we're gonna eat.
We're
You know
going
what I
to
mean?
that
It's
down.
gonna be all right.
Gosh, well, it's funny too because with the show being called "Find It," and people say, "Well, do you think you finally found it?" And I'm like, if I finally find it for goodsies,
I'm in
I'll probably
trouble.
be nighty night forever. You know what I mean? Like God will take me home because I feel like we're always on a journey in our life to become better and to grow and to meet new people and to just constantly find new
Yeah,
selves.
yeah.
And so for you, you're turning that over. And a lesson that I've learned, I mean, that I'm learning and that you've also talked about tonight is being okay with the uncertainty. You don't have to know. You don't have to know. You just go. You put action behind your dreams and have a belief system and faith that the right things are going to come your way, and let go of some of that control because as you said before, and the part that I've thought of many times is, Debbie, you like to feel like you have control, but you really don't anyway.
Never,
I
never.
mean, you're not there's some things you're in control of,
There
like
is,
what I
you are
eat,
not in control
but,
ever. You
I'm
get to
not
make
in
a decision. You ain't in control.
that's so true. You gotta
You know what I
remember.
mean? You get to make a decision, and that's
Yeah, you
great.
can make a decision, right? Yeah, you can make a decision, but, like, being in control is not like thinking you're in control, that's a it's a farce. I mean, it just
Yeah,
isn't. It's
yeah.
not true. So I also want just because we have this platform and there's people watching. What do you what do you tell people who haven't found faith? What can you give people tonight that might be watching that struggle with having faith and having a relationship with God? What can you give us?
I would say the best advice I could give you is there's several things, but one thing I will say is, one, do not compare God, the Heavenly Father, to your earthly father, because there is no comparison.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we struggle with a relationship with God because we're thinking our earthly father is like this. And so we somehow
Mhm.
match that energy with what we think is going to come from the Heavenly Father, which is completely different. You know what I mean? If we had a really critical father, we see God as a big guy up there with a hammer ready to bop us on top of the head.
Mhm.
If we had, an overly loving father, we think that we can do no wrong and it doesn't matter. And, there's different levels, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's one. Two, I would say, um, don't allow your human experience to steal you of your heavenly experience,
Say that again.
because don't allow your human experience to steal your heavenly experience. And let me explain that. Many of us have been church hurt or hurt by Christians or hurt by people of faith, and that kind of stains our idea of the God that we have. And many times it's like, no, people are just idiots. And that's why we needed a savior. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to be people, and it just is what it is. And we have to let them, and we just pray for them and keep on moving. Sometimes you knock them upside the head and then just don't come back and say
Yeah,
anything. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Um, so people are going to be people, and we just have to let people be people. And sometimes that means cutting people off, be like, listen, I can't be with you because you're going to take me to a place I don't want to go.
Mhm.
But also, just like that thing, the thing I said to find it, get curious. God is not like scared of your questions. Like, he's God of the universe. If you haven't found faith, throw out that prayer, like, what is that guy's name? I can never remember his name, but he said he was mad at God one night and he said, whatever, if you're real, then you'll do this, that, and the other. And, he met his match. And God is not afraid for us to say things to him like that. Like, if you have not found faith and you're just like thinking, I don't know what to do and this doesn't feel real to me, challenge them.
Mhm.
What's the worst that can happen? You stay who you are, or you get much, much, much better. And I can tell you, I haven't not been this squeaky clean something my whole life. I was running them streets and I was doing whatever I wanted to do, living however I wanted to live. And, I saw myself about to go down a place where I was not going to be able to return. And that was the moment I needed to say, hey, God, I'm sorry, my bad. Take
Yeah.
me back home. But everybody has to have, I think, one of the mistakes we make is thinking that it looks the same for everyone. And, you see all these squeaky looking, shiny white teeth
Mhm.
people, and you're like, oh, they're so perfect. There's no way God wants that and wants me, but he wants us and all of our filth because, he ain't looking for perfect people.
No.
And we've created a society of fake people. And that's not, the kingdom of God is made up of a bunch of messed up folks that he uses to do a bunch of amazing, amazing, amazing things, which is why I'm sitting here, why you're sitting here. You
Mhm.
know, he likes the messed up people. Like David in the Bible literally slept with someone's wife and then had the man killed, and God still used him as the king. So I'm just gonna go and say what you
Not
did is probably
saying
okay.
not saying it's
You know,
okay to do
you
that,
ain't you
but
ain't done. You have not outdone His grace. Let me just tell you
yeah,
that.
exactly. I mean, I think that, it sounds like you, though, had strayed away, but you came back. A lot of
Oh
people to
yeah.
God, but a lot of people may not have been raised to have that root
Hmm.
faith upbringing,
Yeah.
and they've never known. They've never
Yeah.
known, and for those people, I just feel like what you've been talking about tonight is having a conversation with God. You
Hmm.
ask
Taste
all the
and see.
time, "Show me the
Hmm.
way, give me a sign," and
Hmm.
all you have to do, I think this has been beautiful for all the things that you've said that you've asked for, and it may not have come to you right away, but in the
Hmm.
right timing, it was shown to you because
Oh yeah.
you asked. So
Yeah.
just ask,
Yeah.
and it
Just
does say,
ask. It's
"Ask and you shall
simple.
receive," and it's not in our time, which I'm
Hmm.
like, "Oh, no, come on,
Doggone it.
come on,
And
this
that's
is
not to say
taking
that
too long."
suffering ends, because sin is in our world and people are crazy and things happen. And
Yeah,
I think honestly, it's as simple as humbling yourself and saying, "Okay, God, show me what you got. Show me what you're working with." And some for some reason, like sometimes we make that out to be like, don't question God. And God's like, no, bring me your questions. Please bring me your questions. If he's the one who created us, so you don't go to, you don't look at your blender manual to see how to work your car. You go to the
mhm,
car manual. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Let's ask the one who made us. Let's see
Ooh,
what's up
that's
in
cute.
that
I
area.
love
You know what I
that
mean?
analogy. That's awesome.
You
My
know?
son used to always ask a lot of questions, and I always thought that was about faith, and I
Yeah.
always thought that was great because that's that curiosity. When you care enough to ask the questions,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So,
Yeah.
keep asking the questions, and it's okay. It's not like you're not loyal to God if you're asking questions.
Right.
Just
And to
it's
know that he put that curiosity in us.
yeah.
Like he had to do that or we'd never come back to him. Like that
Mhm.
curiosity that's in us was created in us for a reason. And that's why it's really hard. Like when parents say, don't ask, just do, don't ask, just do. That
Mhm.
really concerns me because you're training your child to be mindless. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
yeah.
they need to be able to ask questions and have, intelligent thinking going on so that they do their own problem solving. And they might not find faith right away, but they will know how to get there and they will find their way back because they have curiosity, because they have roots, because they have a foundation of asking questions and the
And we're
big
not
questions.
stifling them to ask
And
the
we're
question.
not stifling that.
You're
Yeah.
allowing your kids to ask the questions and not to feel made to be unintelligent by asking anything because there aren't
Right.
any unintelligent
Yeah.
questions. So tell us real fast, how many, you have 5 kids and what are their ages?
5 kids, 13, 14, 15, 18, and 20.
Daggone. And homeschooled all of them for
Homeschooled
the
all
better
5
part.
for the better
And they
part.
are so great. The
Thank
ones that I've met,
you.
oh my gosh, and I would see your son all the time helping out at the boutique, and he is
They're
so great.
amazing.
Yeah.
They're such
So what are
good.
they
I
doing?
cannot complain.
What are they doing?
So the oldest, he is about to actually be working an electrical business with his dad. The
Nice.
second son is 18 and has opened his own tattoo shop, Raise Ink.
Oh,
And literally his work is like if he's been doing it for 30 years, like blows my mind, the kind of
wow.
stuff
Where's
that
it
this
located,
boy.
Jade?
It's on Water Street, right above Captivated Salon.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so he's doing that. And then the littles, they're little baby entrepreneurs doing all the other things. My daughter actually is in the middle of writing her first book. Uh,
Nice.
so that's, yeah, they
You're
just do
giving
all
them
kinds of
wings
things.
to fly, with
Oh,
the,
yeah.
and being a tattoo artist, that is an art.
Yeah.
It's
So
I actually
our motto as a family is if we see a gift, we just pour money on it. So if they start exhibiting something that is a gift and they just do it so fluently, like it's just natural to them, we just pour money on it. So,
mm,
we started to see he was a tattoo artist. Okay, cool. We just bought him all the stuff to practice and do all of that.
nice.
His brother's a musician. Also, his brother, he's actually the oldest that's doing the electrical business is actually a producer also. So he's been producing for some Christian hip hop artists and he got into music. We just are buying him all kind of music stuff. Like
Yeah.
they can live their dreams, but the first people that have to believe in them is us because then they can start to believe in themselves. And I'm gonna tell you what, if you raise kids that are confident and just sure of themselves, honey, you ain't got to worry about them in the world.
No, that's so true, Jade. And just being able to not try to tell them what they should do and let them
Mhm.
figure out what they should do.
Yeah,
A lot of times,
100%.
woo, we can get in
Yeah.
there. I know. Well, you're so good at this. Why don't you shut your mouth? Well,
Are you
Debbie, let them
serious?
figure it out. The kids are doing like what it's crazy. I've said, you guys figured out what you wanted to be when you grow up, and I'm still
Yeah.
trying to figure it out.
Listen, it's a lifelong thing.
It is. It is. We're finding it. We're finding it. All
We
right.
find
Well, is
it.
there anything else that I didn't ask you or anything that
Let's
you would love
see.
to share with the audience before we go? Can you think of
Hmm.
anything that you thought I'd ask and I didn't, or something you just want to
No,
share?
you did really good. I'm so
Well,
proud of
I
you.
just loved it. I told you, I said, I don't have to tell you. We're just going to talk
No,
because
we
I know
flow,
when we
girl. We
get
just flow.
together, it's just easy breezy. So,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm glad
yeah,
that we have the opportunity to let your light shine on your faith, family, career, and all the things, and being able to take that pause and be in holding and be okay with rest.
yeah,
Be okay
yeah.
with
It's
rest.
hard out here. So be okay, ladies. Gentlemen, be okay.
Yeah, we're gonna be okay. It's like one eye
We're
twitching.
gonna be fine.
I can't sit here any longer. 5 minutes is
Okay,
all
sit
we
here.
got. So before we go, my awesome producer in the back found the book, put it back up there. This is the Truth About Happiness journal, and then the Truth About Happiness. So and
Yeah,
see there it is, J.E.
there it
Berry.
is, Jade Berry. It's great for if you want to read it by yourself, but it works really well if you want to read it among a group of friends. So
That would be a good
it's
book
really,
club book then.
yeah, it's really
Oh,
good for
and
book
this episode, I almost forgot. I was so excited, Jason. And this episode is sponsored to you by Studio 11 Style. Get the app. It's free.
Woo!
It is free, and you can catch the live streams when I'm on, and you get updates on everything new and everything on sale. So try to find it. Oh, thank
That's
you, Gwen.
Winnie.
We love you too. Hey, there's a lot of love right now
There
because
is.
you pulled a lot of people onto the show tonight, Jade, and that's a
Oh, hi
testament to
guys. Love you
it's a
guys.
testament to how much people love you, and so we're appreciative to you, and we're glad. Hey, I'm telling you, we are not our claws are in this girl. We do not want her to ever leave Chillicothe, and you never know. Life's gonna you got to go where you feel that you're led, but I hope you don't leave.
I'm pretty sure this is it.
Yay, home sweet
Hey,
home.
home sweet home.
Home sweet home. All right, with that, you guys, thank you so much for being here. We love you. Like, if your heart's not warm and fuzzy right now, there's something wrong with you.
I'm
We'll
wrong.
see you. We will see you again next week on Wednesday at 8 p.m. live. Until then, Have faith.
Go find it.
Take a rest. Go find it. That's right. Toodles.
That floats around me, keeping me safe and sound.